Toronto recently played host to one of the biggest film festivals in the world, and I had the distinct pleasure to be a part of it all. Hi there, I'm Terry Hart from Entertainment City with a look back at some of the highlights from the 41st annual Toronto International Film Festival. From celebrity royalty to rising stars, our Rogers cameras were there to capture it all. The buzz, the excitement, and the moments that make movies magical.
Years ago, we had the first Rolling Stones documentary, and we now see how much fans are so passionate about still seeing you guys. How does it feel for you to play for a new audience?
It's amazing, you know. I've been through a few generations now, and it's one of those things that you can't take for granted. You can't sit around wondering about it all the time. So I'm in somewhere in between, but I'm very grateful that people have stuck with us,
Been waiting for this moment, so we need to get you to make some noise and appreciate this moment. Let's hear you, Toronto!
Oh my goodness, look at
this. Oh, bless you.
Look at this. You look like a Tom Ford created Jessica Rabbit.
That is exactly what it is. That was my inspiration. It's Tom Ford, Jessica Rabbit.
I should really be furious, Amy, because when you were cast in Enchanted, I was up for the same role.
Once again, MAG7 is the hashtag.
Of course, the beauty of this film festival is being able to have those surreal in-studio moments. Moments where actors can really open up about their passion for film and the journeys they went on to get in character.
Hello, my name is Wes, and I'm here today to represent the wandering nomads of Mongolia, my goats. My people weren't just Mongolian, we were shepherds. For centuries, the goat has been an essential part of nomadic life.
How has your life changed since Room?
I've grown a few chest hairs, gained some weight.
It's been quite an experience for you. Does it feel different? Does your life feel different?
Yeah, it definitely does. That was my breakout role. I really went everywhere for that one. I went to Dubai, to Japan, to Disneyland, to the Oscars, to the Golden Globes. I won a Critics' Choice, I won a Canadian Screen Awards, just for that one film.
Why did you want to play Wes?
Well, I wanted to play Wes because he's really dedicated to Mongolia. He knows that he wants to be a Mongolian. He's really dedicated to it. He really dresses up as a Mongolian, makes underwear, a hat, and he plays Mongolian music. He has a bunch of maps of Mongolia on his wall, and he loves his family, but he really wants to be a Mongolian nomad.
Yeah, he does.
Goat herder.
There's that great moment in the movie where you ride a horse. Had you ever ridden a horse before?
Actually, that was the first time I've ever ridden a horse. I had to ride a horse to do the film. The first time I rode a horse was for that film. It was when I was practicing. I've ridden a pony, but a horse is a completely different thing. I've just had a pony just take one step and then turns over, next kid's turn. But at a festival or something. But a horse, I had to learn how to run with it, and how to ride, and how to make. And one time I learned how for it to trot while I have no hands. And if you have a horse without a saddle, it kind of hurts, if you know what I'm saying.
Somehow, Wes seems to know what this family needs more than the adults do.
He knows, kids. Yeah, kids, have this way of being unapologetic and being firm in their desires. Without, I think as we get older, we tend to stiffen up emotionally and mentally, physically, spiritually. And he's unabashedly chasing this, having this identity crisis of sort. They all are after experiencing this grief. And he's I think out of all of the character. He's headstrong in the direction he should go.
You talk about the grief. What's it like for you to play a character that is just has such sadness to her?
Yeah, look, it's the only thing you can consider is that you better tap into something real and deep and earnest, and you can only focus on playing the truth of those emotions. There are large events that happen, but there's no big action. It really is just a beautiful emotional journey. And even in the way it happens at the end, it's very, what you have this family that there's no big explosions. It's all seething. It's all underneath. It's all tightly wound emotion. So that was very interesting to navigate. Extreme grief. This couple experiences the death of a child, which is one of the most complex griefs that a couple can experience and grieve through and heal from. If there ever is healing, it just changes your life forever. And so to tap into that, I know firsthand, my family knows firsthand.
The Wes character, Jacob's character, really does become obsessed. It becomes part of his person. And I remember that feeling when I was a kid.
What were you obsessed over?
I was obsessed with ballet.
Ballet.
And I wanted to go to Russia.
I wanted an afro.
I'm starting to remember.
Saru, you're a beautiful boy.
We're very proud of yourself. A life I'd forgotten.
You okay?
What to you, Dev, is the story about? Is it about somebody finding themselves? Is it about family? Is it about loss?
For me, at its core, it's a story about mothers and sons, I think. When I read the script, I immediately thought of my mother and what it would be like the day she watches this, when it's done. And I feel, for me, it's about discovering who you really are, and someone who was born in India and going through this horrendous ordeal and then growing up with a wonderful family in Tasmania, in Hobart, but still bearing this guilt, a young man bearing so much guilt because he's worried if his family, his mother, his brother's still searching for him out there, it's so sweeping and kind of triumphant. It's a story of perseverance as well, I guess.
I think it's about finding home and the need to do that, and then the need and how wonderful that there can be. You can have mothers, plural. I mean, whether they're biological, whether they're surrogate, whether they're someone that steps in and just mothers you, whether an adoptive mother. The power of a mother is so healing, and I think you really see that in this film. And the final image of him being hugged by two mothers. Fantastic. Even though some people say to me, oh my gosh, two mothers, I'd be exhausted.
Brethren, I pray you sing a new song. Sing praise in the assembly of the righteous.
It's a tough movie to talk about in 5 minutes. It resonates so profoundly with people when they see it. Can you explain what it means to be part of what Nate has created?
It feels like we're less a part of a movie and more part of a movement, truly. A conversation starter, a piece of art that is there to help people interrogate history, to shine a light on such gross inhumanity in the world, and push the narrative forward. And so that's, what do you think?
It's a huge responsibility that none of us take lightly. We all do this work in our own lives. So just being a part of this film is an authentic, organic experience that we all take that responsibility so seriously about talking about and shedding light on oppression and inequality, anywhere, which is of course inequality everywhere.
What do you think the movie is stirring? What's the movement around the movie that is bigger than the movie?
Well, thank you for acknowledging that there is a movement that's bigger than the movie, and definitely bigger than the movie maker. Because there is. I think people feel pretty fragile right now.
How hard was it for you
It wasn't hard because to me she was so real and multidimensional. I loved that Nate wrote characters that weren't stereotypes and that they were real people, and that's what I love about this story and the telling of this story, is that you get to see the humanness in these lives. You know, you get to see the love story. You get to see the mother-son connection, the grandmother to the young boy. You get to see this woman teach this boy to read, which is unheard of for a white woman who was a slave owner to teach a slave to be literate. And you can see the compassion and all of that, but then you also see the horrible atrocities.
So your own history has become part of the narrative of this movie. Would you still have made the movie knowing what it's cost you personally?
Nat Turner is my hero. He's always been my hero. What I want to see happen with this film far exceeds even me. You know, I would like to see a real conversation on race. You know, as a black man in America, I constantly hear this soundbite of, you know, hey, this is going to be good for the conversation on race. But my question is, when are we going to have the conversation on race?
He really does push the envelope quite far in terms of where you can go and your narrow-mindedness, your misogynistic nature, your you know, self-absorbed, kind of greedy world that he lives in which of course moves into his house as well, into his family, and how insensitive he can be towards his family, especially his kids. But then can you pull that back? And can you know, there's a time where you can go too far and you'll never get the audience back, but we wanted to go just far enough, but then still have them end up rooting for you despite all the kind of issues and imperfections that you might have. And that's, he would have stayed the same if this hadn't happened to him, but you know, fortunately sometimes these situations hit us and we learn so much from them. As a law student, I could kid myself on for a while that maybe I would enjoy that world, but when I actually got into that world, I thought there's no denying this now, it's just not for me. So there's a lot of memories and a lot of experience that I was kind of bringing in, and plus that the kind of theme, the whole idea of this person reaching a kind of a cathartic moment in his life when everything changes, which happens today. It also happened to me as a lawyer, when one minute I was training as a lawyer and the next day I had my bags packed moving down to London to become an actor, you know, to you know, make no little plans because they have no magic to stir men's blood. That's kind of what happened to me as well.
When you go into work with minors, working with kids, especially a story like this that is such a beautiful story to tell, that you want to do it right. When you met the kids who were going to play these characters, were you kind of just wow, or was there a little bit of apprehension there as well?
Well, for me, I've never played a mother. I'm not a mother. I did play a mother in Jungle Book, but you know, live action mother. I was really nervous because you have to be a leader. You have to be the example. You know, that's the role of a mother. And then also as an actor playing a mother, you're with minors who've never acted before. Mm-hmm. You know that they're going to be looking up to you for direction and inspiration.
You were so incredible with how you embraced them as well. I mean, I really watched you transform into their mother in a sense, you know, and you learned how to cook the kind of food that they would want to eat and how to carry your baby, and I mean, it was a really wonderful thing to observe. Actually.
Did you find any of your own mother coming out in you?
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, I grew so protective of them. I mean, even when we weren't shooting, you know, I was so concerned about that they'd eaten, that they weren't, you know, that they had something to drink. And
she went a little method. is what we're saying here.
I love the introduction to these people, to a world that I think in North America we're maybe not as familiar with, this kind of traveling gypsy. How would you describe this community?
Yeah, as you know, travelers, it's an old tradition in Europe, you know. Some people call them gypsies, travelers, itinerants. They just have their own set of rules, culture and way of life. It's something that I grew up with in Ireland and saw around me all through my childhood. So when I received the script, that Alistair Siddons had written this piece that was just like kind of slapped to the face, which was a real observation about the two communities living side by side, the settled community, which we're all part of, and this traveling community and the travelers, and the animosity between these two worlds. And is there a way that we can sort of bridge that tension and hostility?
Why do you think we care about them? Why are these people that we root for?
Because I think you hope, I just feel like they're travelers, but they're a family like any other family. They have their tea together, they're a family, and so you want them to succeed, and you see how much they care about their kids, how much they love their kids, and you see, I think, Kelly, trying to desperately push them in the right direction. But it's very difficult because there is this whole criminal landscape as well, which is at the, I suppose, the core of them as well.
Plus, what I think is kind of attractive about them is that they live so un-PC. You know, health and safety does not exist in the traveller community. And there's a sort of liberating element to them where, you know, the kids are driving cars.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, it's the school of the hard knocks. It's, you know, in a way we've all become so sterilized by...
Small and... This, I think having kids as well, I'm very aware that I, you know, take them to the playground or whatever, and I've got my eye on them all the time. Or you're in the shop and he's on a different aisle. I'm like, where are you? Well, you go there. And they've just got space to move.
And even if they
run
don't,
and
they
play.
just let them go.
Man carries a gun, he tends to use it.
Dan, you dead? Pity. I had just ordered a drink from that man.
Took a job looking for some men to join me.
Is it difficult?
Impossible.
I have to say your other castmates, though, would say that working with you was quite an honor for them. Right. Because that's what they've been saying this morning. So the chemistry that we feel when we're watching this is palpable. So tell us a little bit about the atmosphere on set with all of you together.
A lot of talented dudes, you know, that are good actors, great physical skills, handsome guys. Everybody's a gangster in their own right, you know, so there was a whole feeling out process. Who's the boss? Who's the alpha? Who's gonna be second? Who's gonna be third? You know, and everybody, that's a real thing, and that's okay. You know, they know who's first, so they gotta figure out.
They gotta figure out who's the backup quarterback after that.
Your performance is incredible in it. Tell me a little bit about the prep that you did with Susanna, really understanding the journey that she went on.
Well, we both found it very important to get a good relationship going because, you know, this is her story. The story is about her. You know, I think you can really see that in the movie when it's, you know, it's really just watching it unfold.
Well, from somebody who's a journalist and handing this over, I mean, what was that experience like for you, and why were you thrilled that it was Chloe?
Absolutely thrilled, especially when we talked, because the level of questioning I was just so impressed by. In fact, like way better than most journalists that I've encountered. I mean, she really dug deep and really wanted to know, like, what was I feeling? Like, you know, trying to access who I was then, and, you know, really interesting questions that I really had never heard before.
It's my first time here. I'm excited, I'm ready.
Being a basketball player is all about your heart. Without ball, I'm still a basketball player. Yeah. Basketball is gonna take me somewhere.
Does everybody understand me? You have to make a difference in this country. We all have to make a difference.
Where did the idea for Giants of Africa start in 2003, and where is it now?
It started from me being made the director of Basketball Without Borders, which is a program the NBA does, and they bring 100 players, African players, to Johannesburg, bring NBA coaches, NBA players, and I was so amazed what the camp did and how it affected the kids that came and traveled from all over Africa, and I wanted to take it to my country, and so I used that model and started the camp Giants of Africa in Nigeria.
The singing. which really, really struck me as a beautiful moment with you the first time we see it.
Africa, we are happy. NBA, we are coming. And then we make the chant, pa, pa, pa. And it's a cry to get their attention, you know, like to get everybody's attention. And every time we do that in the camp, they know that everybody needs to be quiet. Okay. Pa, pa, pa.
Pa.
Oh, it's pretty good. NBA, we are coming.
NBA, we are coming.
Africa, we are happy.
Africa, we are happy.
Toronto, we are happy.
Toronto, we are happy.
There we go.
Thank you so much.
That was awesome.
That's my favorite TIFF moment 2016.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you.
I'd like to help my country make a difference in the world.
The average test time is 5 hours.
I'm done, sir.
It's been 40 minutes.
38 minutes. What should I do now?
Whatever you want.
The deputy director of the NSA offered me a new position.
Can you tell me anything about it?
What sort of secrecy even goes into meeting Edward Snowden?
People have been asking me, so did you have to like wear a blindfold when you were driving there or something? No, it wasn't. It wasn't that crazy. We met in an office.
Worn out places, worn out faces, bright and early for their daily races, going nowhere, going nowhere.
This film actually, there's so much happening in the peripheral, and at the core I feel like is about family. So why is it, why does it work? How does it work that this film is able to tell such a complex story through such an intimate focus?
I think often small stories, you know, you sort of have a, you know, a small story has large echoes, you know, and can be representative of different larger narratives. But also this movie is set at a very specific time when our country was going through some very specific changes in between the Second World War and the Vietnam War.
It's timely in the sense, too, that, I mean, protesting is a very powerful thing. So tell us how this film is able to show that and its role in today's society.
I think that we see imagery in the film that certainly recalls things that we unfortunately are still seeing today. So again, it is a very specific time in history, but I think some of those elements are resonating currently.
Tell us about the dynamic when you co-star with Ewan McGregor, who is also your director.
It was pretty, he made it very comfortable, and he seemed to be very comfortable playing, you know, sort of wearing both hats, as it were. Yeah. He's wonderful to work with as an actor and a director. I really had a great time. He's so gracious and supportive and really respectful of everyone that he works with in every department. Yeah, I really appreciated him.
And for us being able to witness Dakota Fanning in such a transformative role, what was it? It was incredible to see her like that. What was it like for you to actually see that unfold?
I thought she did a spectacular job. She's very talented, strong performer, and she was, I think, able to, you know, really embody this character, you know, her strength and her frailty.
It was nice for us to see you in such a transformative role and in something that was pretty heavy and a little bit and incredibly relevant to what's going on in today's world. How did you prepare for that? And maybe what were some of the challenges, or maybe there were no challenges for you?
No, it was challenging for sure. I knew that it would be. There were some parts of it that going into it I was like, I'm not sure how I'm gonna do that. Like, I'm not sure how that's gonna happen.
Nora.
Nora, what is it? Nora, please. You mentioned, you know, being able to shoot in the cold. Toronto winters can be pretty harsh.
On Bloor at 3 o'clock in the morning. Yeah.
That was pretty tough.
Well, it was, but you know, everybody was having it, but it kind of, there's this craziness that ensues from that on a crew. So we were all kind of, you know.
Salam. So even though I have lived in the States for a while now, I self-identify as a Canadian. But Rosie's story to me was really, it's not so much that I so self-identified with her story, but I was interested and I really, really wanted to support what there was on the page and then just kind of lend my voice and then whatever I had to help make this project come true.
Where are we now in season 3 of Transparent?
Maura has that wonderful line where she gets up and says, you know, I have everything I've ever wanted. Why am I so unhappy?
I love the line that Maura says, I've got everything I need, so why am I so upset?
Right.
Does that resonate? Is that
No,
the...
it's I'm not happy.
Oh, well, then I transcribed incorrectly, Mr. Tambor. Excuse
We have a fact checker
We have a
who
fact
lives
checker.
behind the sofa.
Yeah. It's not every day that happens. Thanks, Jeffrey Tambor.
It's like it's not about Maura's transition, it's now about the echoes in the family, like how that is affecting.
Yeah, we kind of got through the earthquake in season 2 with everyone kind of dealing with what changed.
I want to be in the Pfefferman family. It's like perfect to me.
It's a lot of fun and a lot of pain.
Which is real.
Everyone's a Pfefferman. That's why. I've never said that before. First time I've said it. Everyone's a Pfefferman.
So when they call you and they're like, all right, we need you to be a punk rock porcupine, how do you get into character for a role like that?
How do I get into character? I don't know. I just sort of like I let out my like inner animal.
Yes.
Yes. It's like I was saying, it's like a primal scream kind of thing. You just go for it.
This has got to be kind of exciting for you, huh?
It's cool, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bring the family too. Finally made something I can bring the kids to.
So how do you feel about your kids seeing you? Like, do you think it's going to be kind of a trip for them?
Well, they've seen this, so they know I'm in this now. So they go around the house. I say Buster, they say Moon.
Really?
Yeah. We got that down.
I feel pretty chill right now because this is what I love to do is, go to films, and I'm just so proud of this movie. I'm really excited to be part of the audience, and get to feel their response to it.
At the center, Two Lovers and a Bear, the title comes from a joke. Do you have a go-to joke?
I am the worst at telling jokes. I do not have a go-to joke. Love hearing them. Yeah. Love hearing jokes. But nope, I forget everything when you ask me a question like that. I'm like, oh, I've never heard a joke before.
Congratulations celebrating with Kate as well. How will you be celebrating?
Oh, I'm sick. I'm gonna go. But I am gonna watch I want to watch the movie with an audience because I think that's always a fun thing to do, and I want to do that. And I'm gonna go back and get in bed and go to sleep and rest.
In the junket, he said he was so proud of you. And
Yeah, I mean, I hope so.
Well, of course.
Oh God, all you do, you could be, he could be 90 and I could be however old, and I'd still want my parents to be proud.
From Fassbender to Butler, Kidman to Nyong'o, the 41st annual Toronto International Film Festival was one for the history books. There was glitz, glamour, a little bit of controversy, and definitely some unforgettable moments. One thing for sure is true, TIFF did not disappoint. Until next year, I'm Terry Hart, and that's a wrap.